While Meghan Markle was home alone in California with the kids, Harry was off-grid and uncontactable in Africa. An extraordinary situation fueling rumours that behind the gilded gates of the gruesome twosome's Montecito Palace in the Sun, all is far from well, particularly on the money front after the cancellation of their $100 million Netflix contract is reported to have plunged the worried Sussexes into a world of financial pain. When he headed solo to honour his late great-mother Diana's campaign to rid African countries of the scourge of landmines, was the prince taking a well-earned break from his wife's frantic efforts to persuade the public that her online wine and dried roses business is a roaring success? You decide. But whatever the truth, after he retraced Princess Di's footsteps in Angola, old Gingernuts quietly moved on to Botswana, where decompressing away from it all in the remote wilds with two of his oldest friends must have been a welcome relief for a royal pariah who is very much the spare in his unusual one-sided marriage. Harry extended his stay away with a 3-day visit to the back of beyond home of Tanya T.J. Jenkins and her husband Mike. In his spiteful little book Spare, the Duke paid tribute to T.J. for the pivotal role she played in helping him set out on life's great highway. So important was she after Diana's death that he came to regard her as his second mum, and even called her that. Courtesy of his ghostwriter's florid prose, Harry gushed, "She and Mike were the first people ever to cherish whatever wildness was left inside me, whatever hadn't been lost to grief and the paps." So he lost his wildness to paparazzi photographers. Really? What does that even mean? What on earth goes on in this guy's empty red head? Blaming almost everything on the meddling media, including Diana's death, which of course was the fault of a drunken Parisian driver and nothing to do with the evil press. But the dim Duke is out of Africa now and back on planet Meghan, where goodness knows anything goes. While the self-styled domestic goddess Duchess encourages ludicrous stories that she's locked in negotiations over her surely non-existent future with Netflix, a good old-fashioned dose of reality has been delivered by genuine domestic goddess Martha Stewart. Clearly irritated by talk that Meghan is the new Martha Stewart, the real deal Martha served up a withering put-down. In an interview with Yahoo, America's veteran queen of homemaking and entertaining declared, "Meghan, I don't really know very well. I hope she knows what she's talking about. Authenticity to me is everything, and to be authentic and knowledgeable about your subject matter is extremely important." Translation: Ms. Stewart suspects that Ms. Markle hasn't got a clue, that her alleged expertise is a shameless pretense. An understandable suspicion that anyone who endured the amateur hour awfulness of Netflix's feeble festival of fruit and vegetable slicing with Love Meghan would be hard-pressed not to agree with. It's only fair to caution you all that there'll be a second series of this unwatchable tosh in September. Not because enthusiastic executives commissioned more helpings of the Duchess's dreadful drivel, but because when they filmed the first series at a rented house that was conspicuously not Meghan's, they simultaneously filmed a second series, which, despite widespread total apathy and guaranteed abysmal viewing figures, they might as well screen. So be careful with your remote in case you accidentally tune into the toweringly tedious television turkey of the year. You have been warned. Meanwhile, breaking news. There's a new vintage of the difficult Duchess's rosé wine, Chateau Meg, on the way. After her previous version sold out within seconds, like everything else on her weird website as ever, here's your chance not to buy the next one. Over to our hapless heroine making her latest exciting announcement, complete with dazzling wordplay, on her brand's Instagram page. Oh, how we love seeing the world through rose-coloured glasses. Rosé-coloured glasses. perhaps even better. Our new vintage of As Ever's beloved rosé is available next week. Beloved? Available? That'll be the day. Welcome to the wonderful world of Markle hyperbole. Either way, I simply can wait. I mean, you know, the last lot of rosé wasn't exactly spectacular. It was 14.5%, which is enough to get anyone drunk in about one glass.
Yeah, and 3 bottles at a time.
But we'll talk about that in a second. It was a bit weird, wasn't it, that Harry went to Africa alone to remind us, oh, my mother was Diana, can I make some money, please? And then disappeared into Botswana with these weird people that he knows. TJ. They've always got stupid nicknames, these poshies, haven't they? And they always live in weird places like the outback of Botswana. Anyway, Harry calls Botswana his second home. And there he was. It's weird, though, to go off-grid, uncontactable. Apparently he relished the fact that nobody could send him emails, nobody could phone him, including Meghan. I bet he did relish it.
Yeah, I absolutely think he did. I think this is a cry for help. I think it's probably on the verge of a psychotic breakdown for Harry, because I don't understand why, when pretty much on the same week that the Netflix contract got cancelled, he jets off and kind of just turns his phone off while Meghan's probably going through a horrible, horrible time. It's really giving divorce nearing. I just don't see how they can work together as a team when he's going and switching his phone off while she's having the worst week of her life in Montecito. I mean, Gayle King, even Tyler Perry and Oprah were at Beyonce's concert this week. Meghan was nowhere in sight. I think there are plates being smashed at Montecito. Seriously, as Harry is switching his phone off. It's a much bigger story, I think, than we can even imagine behind the scenes.
I think he's sort of saying, I can do a better Netflix without her. You know, she's holding me back.
No, he's not. Ashley's not going to do anything on Netflix ever again.
He's going to Botswana.
No idea. Did you see Polo?
I want to watch it because it's so bad. It might be good, but he wanted to find his wild side again in Botswana, and maybe Harry goes bananas in Botswana. I'd watch that show, man.
Yeah, but except he doesn't want to do television ever again. He's had it with showbiz. Like everything else in his life, he was useless at it, and he's not enthusiastic about it. Well, I talked to Kinsey Schofield about this very issue only just now, so have a look.
They said specifically that her season 2 of With Love Meghan was going to be the jump-off point for this next contract. That doesn't make sense to me when I heard that the only reason she got a season 2 was because Netflix was milking that return on investment. It took Harry and Meghan 2 years to actually execute one project for them, which was the Harry and Meghan documentary. 2 years, multiple production companies. It was the single only successful commercially project that they executed for Netflix. We've gone over the cancellation of Pearl before it even began, Heart of Invictus, Live to Lead, the Polo docuseries. Everything else was a flop. And I even think that Meghan's show With Love Meghan is considered a flop. But the way that this person tries to justify this, they said it's they said people point to Polo was a flop, but it's worth remembering that Harry and Meghan was the biggest documentary for Netflix in 2022. That alone could afford them 50 flops, and it still would be worth it for Netflix. How so? You and I both know that you're only as relevant as your last hit.
Yeah, Kinsey, as usual, right on the money there. And there was ludicrous stories, Ash, in the papers at the weekend. I won't embarrass the paper in question. It was a Sunday paper, saying that actually, contrary to all the stories that Netflix are dropping the gruesome twosome and that the contract, the $100 million, I think it was a 3-year contract, is over, Meghan is locked in negotiations with Netflix about their future deal. That is Meghan's spin all over. That's coming out of Camp Meghan, isn't it?
Well, the only thing they're successful at is if they're bitter and twisted about stuff, isn't it? So, and they're not going to... She wants to portray herself as sort of like a Gwyneth Paltrow or, you know, just be this sort of homely figure. And it's just not working.
Yeah, and Martha Stewart nailed her on that. That's what Martha Stewart's saying, that she's just got no expertise. And you could tell that from With Love Meghan, which I did have to endure for professional reasons. It was, as I said, it was a festival of sort of feeble festival. All the time she's just cutting vegetables and fruit and then laying them out like a rainbow. Great, marvellous. Here's Kinsey and I talking about the booze line that she's working on. Apparently, we've now got a new, as I mentioned in my monologue, a new rosé vintage coming out, but apparently she's also planning some champagne. Interesting.
She has a new champagne range coming out and holiday products, which, just for the love of God, is it going to be Christmas tree sprinkles instead of flour? Is it going to be like, why? I do not associate Meghan Markle with the birth of Jesus Christ, and I refuse to. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to carry on. I mean, so she's going to release champagne.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
It'll have to be sparkling wine, because champagne actually does have to come from the Champagne region in France. So unless she's going to do a deal with Moet Chandon or something,
no, I don't think
it'll be Meghan Sparkle Markle, won't it?
Oh, God, please don't do that. I don't think she can do that, because I think her nephew has a weed company that's already called Markle Sparkle. I think that conflicts too much.
Yeah.
Merkel. Yeah. I mean, they both revealed themselves to basically be useless without the apparatus of the royal family. I mean, if you strip away the royal family from Harry, he's basically a sort of balding buffoon with a couple of GCSEs. He doesn't genuinely.
I don't think he's got that as many as a couple.
Not as clever as that,
I just don't know. I mean, his project did his which is for the American audience, like half a sort of accomplishment from high school, a diploma, if you will.
It's a very low-lying diploma that kids in this country take, and Harry is not famous for passing all that many of them. In fact, he struggled to get into Officers College, Sandhurst, when he joined the army, because he had to get a thing called a couple of A levels, and he had to have special home schooling to just about struggle through that.
Then he went to the wrong door with it, pressed the ring doorbell. Is this Sandhurst?
And then he failed his helicopter pilot's test. So he's a man of great accomplishment. He's a legend of aviation, apparently.
Is there sparkling wine? Is she just going to get a soda stream and get the rosé and then put some bubbles into it, sort of thing? Well, there you go. There's your champagne.
I wouldn't put it past her. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past. But then again, she gets all of her products from factories anyway, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. I mean, it's basically just... But the thing is, she can't even produce mass market stuff with that. You'd think, oh, maybe it'll be on the shelves like Dolly Parton's rosé that we always point to because it's a great example of an actually good alcoholic beverage. She can't do it mass market. No one's going online and clicking, oh, I'll have 6 bottles of that.
Meghan and Chandon, she'll have to do a partnership.
Do you know, listen, folks, you know, like big TV star, you know, I go around chauffeur-driven Rolls Royces and things like that. Do I hell? I get reminded just about every night when I'm going home, I think about Meghan's wine, because at the bus stop that I have to get the bus at, there's one of those revolving neon adverts, billboards. And always there's a Dolly Parton with a rosé.
Yeah.
And I've got to get some Chateau Dolly. And it's like, over here it's £7. So that's about $10. Let's not forget, Meghan is charging $30 a bottle. You've got to buy a minimum of 3 and then $20 shipping. So $110. I don't know how much this new one will cost. But as I keep saying, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it, Ash? Yeah. This is such a bad business model. There are 2 things that are bad about As Ever's business model. The first aspect that I don't think is a goer, that I don't think works well, is never having anything available to sell or buy. So the fact that you can't ever buy any products from it because it's always sold out doesn't seem to me to be the passport to
it's a major flaw in business.
It's a major flaw. Yeah, and the other problem with it is that you just can't get hold of it. You can't get hold of the stuff.
Yeah, and it's very strong,
and it's very expensive.
And she made it that strong so you can't remember how bad it was.
Yeah.
And you have to buy 3 bottles of it.
But the other aspect of why the business is bad, you know, you're being asked to spend $110 in Britain, what is that, £80, £90, for 3 bottles of rosé. Yeah. You've got to fill out a form, you know, online. You've got to put your credit card in. Then you've got to wait 3 weeks for it to turn up. Got to make sure you're in when the Amazon guy turns up with the delivery. All that. Or you just nip next door to 7-Eleven or your local grocery store and buy a bottle of rosé for about $7. Yeah. You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's useless, isn't it?
That business advice is way too good for you to be giving out to Meghan right now.
You should do another show.
Genuinely, because that is exactly the problem, Kevin. And I think it's really interesting. I think they've told themselves, yeah, when we leave the firm, we're going to become great producers of content, of businesses, and it's just actually not what they're capable of, and they're quickly realising that they're not actually up to scratch.
I don't think this business is working. I'm absolutely convinced.
And no one wants to partner with
them. Who the hell sends off for dried flowers? Who the hell sends off for cookie dough? You go to a 7-Eleven, don't you? Or you go to your local grocery store. It's just ridiculous.
Do they sell dried flowers in your local 7-Eleven? You do live in a posh area, don't you?
Yeah, bloody hell.
Well, this is England, so we don't actually have 7-Elevens.
Not anymore.
If we did, they wouldn't sell dried flowers. Listen, let's go to a bad ad.
What's your name? Your first name has a special meaning. Each letter gives off vibrations that, along with your birth date, reveals your personality and future. Ellen Dodge, America's foremost numerologist, will give you a personalized reading when you call this number. Use your push-button phone to enter your name and birth date. Then hear astonishing things about yourself and your future. Call now, $1.95 per minute. It's all about you. Call and listen.
Ellen Dodgy, more like. What is numerology? What does that mean?
Well, they get your letters and they work out the numbers and they say this is what's going to happen in your life.
Oh, they use numbers.
Yeah.
The letters, the numbers related
the numbers
to the
that relate.
your name.
Yeah, but I mean.
And then you get an absolutely accurate prediction of your personal future.
Yeah. But did you see they had the names list of all the...
Yeah, it's the big moment where we choose what we think is the biggest story of the week. There's absolutely no contest this week. A story that was brilliant for us here in Britain, and I think probably brilliant for Americans as well, entertaining all over the world. Now, I know Donald Trump has got some faults, but after his, 5-day trip to Scotland, where he absolutely humiliated our president and had us all in stitches, I think I probably won't hear a word against him. Look, there he is. Anyway, this is him. Look, this is him on his golf course. Yeah. This is him on his golf course. That's the way to play golf, isn't it? Yeah. So he's opening a brand new course in Scotland because he already owns Turnberry, one of the legendary courses of the world. So he's about to, look at this, walk into the tee. This is the way to walk to the tee when you're playing golf. I mean, what a show.
I'm never without my band walking to the tee.
Yeah, that's right. From now on, I used to play a lot of golf. I can't now because I've got a bad back. But I think I might dust down my clubs and hire a pipe band and go and play 18 holes.
I like the way he welcomed Keir Starmer to Britain. It was like he was welcoming him on this state visit.
Well, he kind of was. I mean, it's unheard of to sort of be inviting the Prime Minister of a country to a golf course that you own.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a power move if I've ever seen one.
In case anybody missed it, certainly nobody in this country missed it, but around the world, maybe in the States. So he's got very, very close ties to Scotland. He loves Scotland, old Donald, because his mother was born in Scotland on the remote Hebridean island of Lewis. And she came to America during the Great Depression. So he has sort of almost blood ties to Scotland. He loves it up there. Bought Turnberry, one of the great courses of the world. I think the British Open will be there.
He's got 3 courses
this season, and he's just opened this new one. And I think that's in Aberdeenshire. I think it's called Menny or something. Anyway, he opened that course. But he was staying, as you say, guys, he was staying at Turnberry, which he owns. And as you said, Ash, he turned it into, like, you know, his country. And Ursula von der Leyen, the lying, useless chief of the European Union, she had to go and pay homage to him. Keir Starmer, his wife, went up. And he's standing there on the doors, the entrance to Turnberry, just meeting them as if he's the host. Anyway, here is Donald communing with our pathetic Prime Minister, Keir Starmer.
This is a magnificent part of the world, and you cannot ruin it. You cannot let people come in here illegally. And what happens is there'll be murderers, there'll be drug dealers, there'll be all sorts of things that other countries don't want. And they send them to you, and they send them to us, and you've got to stop them.
Do you know what I think about Trump? I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. And I don't say this in a pejorative way because I love America and I love Americans. He's very, very American, very brash.
Oh, yeah.
No idea about decorum. So he comes to someone else's country and then lectures them about what's wrong with it. But what was brilliant, folks, about his lectures, he did it 5 days straight. He never stopped. He's telling Starmer there, you know, you got to do something about migration. You got to get your act together. He's telling us to stop our net zero insanity. Yeah. He's telling us to do something about crime and so on and so forth. Stop the windmills. Start drilling. And all of us in Britain, this is what we would love. To stand there and shout in that idiot Starmer's face. And while Starmer was receiving this advice, these instructions from Donald Trump, he was squirming, really squirming. He was excruciating, humiliating for Starmer and magnificent for us. And what Donald Trump said about what needs to be done in this country hit the nail right on the head. Here's to Donald Trump.
I mean, and also he slagged off the Mayor of London, who's Keir Starmer's mate. He said, yeah, he's doing a terrible job and he's a nasty person because he was very rude about Trump. And then Starmer goes, he's actually a very good friend of mine. And he went, oh, no, OK. He's doing a terrible job. And then he doubled down. I saw him leaving at the airport and he was going, you know, that comment, everyone in Britain's coming up going, thank you for saying that.
So that's Ash's version. You can see the real version now.
Here we go.
I'm not a fan of your mayor. I think he's done a terrible job, the mayor of London. But the nasty person, I think he's done. I think he's a friend of mine, right? No, I think he's done a terrible job.
Two things about that. Sadiq Khan is a nasty person, and he has done a terrible job. This was the greatest city in the world after 10 years of Sadiq Khan. It's a dangerous, knife-ridden, gun-ridden hellhole. Where women aren't safe to walk the streets. In fact, none of us are.
16,000 stabbings, I heard on your show.
46 people a day, every single day, get stabbed in London. Yeah. As you said, Ash, more than 16,000 over the last year, stabbings. Also, there are gun shootings as well. This place, you know, if you think you have dangerous cities in America, walk a mile in our shoes.
Looks like New York's going the same way, doesn't it? If they vote in that other mayor.
Well, they could. But I mean, it reminds me of New York back in the 70s before Giuliani came in and
the broken windows
brought in zero tolerance. But we have this little pipsqueak of a mayor. He's about 3'2" tall, and I'm probably exaggerating. I'm exaggerating. He's actually 2'9" tall. All he goes on about is clean air. Yeah. He's obsessed with clean air. And I keep saying to him, listen, mate, well, I don't actually say to him personally, but I'd like to say to him, listen, mate, if I was interested in clean air, I'd live in the countryside, wouldn't I? Yeah. Bloody idiot.
I mean, all this sentiment from Trump actually comes from a love of Britain. He is saying that, and the people of Britain are actually agreeing with him. It's Starmer who hates us. It's Starmer who hates the whole country and who thinks, him and Victoria, his wife, look like they're being held at gunpoint in that video.
I think she is. She looked really miserable. She looked like a hostage.
Yeah, she's a hostage.
Yeah, she absolutely is.
I read an interesting article the other day theorising about Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. So J.D. Vance...
He's coming here too.
He's coming here to the area called the Cotswolds for his holiday with his wife.
That's where Ellen DeGeneres lives.
Yeah, it's for his vacation with his wife. It's where DeGeneres graces us with her presence. She's trying to sell her place, by the way. Something like 40
million.
Flip
it for 7 million.
She's trying to sell it about 40 million quid or something. Good luck with that. But she wants to stay here. Anyway, J.D. Vance is going on. Now, J.D. Vance has been very critical about our lack of free speech here. He's quite right. We're losing our freedom of speech in this country. It's because we have a socialist government and they don't like people having freedom of speech. But what this article said was that both Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and a lot of other Americans who are vocal about Britain, it's not out of antipathy or contempt or hatred for this country. It's out of deep love.
Yeah.
And they regard this as the most important country in the world, and they're sad to see what's happening to it, and so are we, for damn sake.
Well, it's the mother country, isn't it, of the States, in a way?
But we are sad to see what's happening in this country.
Yeah.
This socialist government, folks, is ruining this place.
And Europe in general.
It's a problem when someone like Donald Trump, who really does look at, how people are viewed, he looks at optics. That's how he views Britain. No free speech, violence, knife crime.
He's right.
And it takes a lot for him to go and lecture our Prime Minister about it. He must be furious behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I really think that Starmer needs to take Trump seriously, but I don't think there's a bone in his body or his cabinet that would actually want to do that. They don't take him seriously.
Does he dislike Trump, do you think, Starmer? And pretend
I think Starmer hates Trump, but he pretends he likes it because it's good for the country. But of course, Donald comes here, and he makes a big play of my friend Keir, and here's his wife Victoria Sponger and all that. And then the moment he leaves, Starmer announces he's going to recognise Palestine as a state.
His back,
now that's that infuriated Donald Trump and alienated America. So he's a little snake. He's a
weasel.
Useless little weasel. He really is. But anyway, now it's time for the small moment. This is our other feature during this section of the show. And look, it's Donald Trump. He's the most powerful man in the world. He can cheat at golf if he wants to. Look at this. Watch. See this guy? So this guy, what's happened is, there goes, if you go back, so that guy there, look, he drops a ball, right? See that? See the ball?
Yeah.
So my suspicion is that Donald has driven into the deep rough or even out of bounds. And one of his flunkies, it's a bit like Goldfinger. Remember that in Goldfinger, when Goldfinger cheated?
Are the bagpipers behind those carts?
No, the bagpipers...
They're gone now.
Yeah, he could have used them as a front. Anyway, look, there it goes, you see? Look at that, look at that. As I say, he's the most powerful man in the world, and he distinguished himself while he was in our great country, our once great country in Scotland. And as far as I'm concerned, you enjoy your golf, Donald, and if you want to get one of your flunkies to drop a ball in a nice lie, you go right ahead. Let's go to a bad ad.
Everything happens to me.
I'm broke. Can't pay my bills.
I think I'm cursed.
I'm just bad luck.
Stop. If you're tired of bad luck, if you think your life is jinxed, now you can change it with E. David Scott's Curse Removal. Call this number and follow simple instructions.
It really works. Within 2 days, I won this car in a drawing and $20,000.
Call and let positive forces instantly cast away the evil spirits that bring you bad luck. $1.95 per minute for entertainment only. Under 18, get permission. Call now and remove the jinx from your life.
It's good value if it works, though. Have you tried it? Have you rang it?
Honestly, I need to ring that. That's a lot of
we all do, because we've all had a big run of bad luck ever since too many people in this country made the massive mistake of voting in Keir Starmer and his bloody government. That's why it's so... Would that help? Would that help? Should we ring it?
Please.
1-900. It's only going to be a few bucks. Let's questions. And Samara has got the first one.
Sure. The British government is building an elite social media police squad to monitor tweets. Should they be stopped?
Yes. In this country, if you're in America or Australia, I mean, man, they are cracking down on freedom of speech. The Prime Minister, the Socialist Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer.
Communist.
The communist, Marxist Keir Starmer, has set up a social media police squad, an intelligence unit, and they're going to go through Twitter, Facebook, looking for tweets that may betray anti-migrant sentiment. This government is obsessed with the rising tide of fury in Britain over our migrant crisis. For example, yesterday, the day before we're recording this show, 900 migrants came across the channel. Over the past week, something like 2,500 altogether have come over. Since the beginning of the year, more than 25,000 Since Keir Starmer came into power last July, about 47,000. They are flooding this country. They come across in these dinghies illegally from places like... They come from France, but originally they come from places like Syria, Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Somalia, Eritrea, all these places, you name it, they come. And they just break into the country. And what do? We put them in 4-star hotels. We give them £50 a week. We give them free lawyers, free doctors, free food.
iPhone or Samsung to get the choice.
Free dentists and so on and so forth. We cannot do enough for them. We give them free mobile phones. No wonder they come across. Anyway, the point is, the people of this country are seething mad about this. We've had enough. There are demonstrations, angry protests going on all over the country. So what is Keir Starmer's technique to suppress this unrest? It is to crack down on us, to get sinister snoopers checking our tweets, checking our Facebook posts, checking what we put on Instagram to make sure that we are not anti-migrant. And if they find out that, for example, I post something anti-migrant, that they could well arrest me. That's what these people are like.
It's like China, isn't it? And he lied again to Trump. He said, no, this bill, because Trump asked him about it, so he said this bill is just to protect children.
Well, that's the thing. It's China with better marketing, because Australia has actually also done this week as well. Another left-wing government, basically a mirror government to what we have in the UK. And they've had a very good marketing plan, and they've scared everyone into submission. And they basically said to everyone, it's for the children, to save the children. It's not. Newsflash, it's not.
It's absolutely not. You're exactly right, Samara. It's called the Online Safety Bill, and our suppressive communist Russian-style government, North Korean-style government, it says it's purely to protect children from harmful online content, you know, pornography, violent stuff, that kind of thing. That's a lie. That's a lie. It stops us seeing all sorts of information, stops us seeing footage of the protests. We're not allowed to look at them. It is a suppressive device by which we don't get to see lots and lots of information that the government thinks may fuel the protests against their hopeless regime.
But if you're against censorship, they'll say, right, well, you're protecting paedophiles. That's what you're doing. You know, they accuse you of being friend of the paedophiles if you're against. And this is exactly what they did with the immigrants, saying you're racist if you don't want mass immigration to this country.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right, Ash. I mean, last year when lots of the country rose up in fury after 3 little girls were horrifically slaughtered in a terrible murder up in the north of this country, in Southport. And people thought that the perpetrator, the suspect, might be a migrant. Turns out they were slightly wrong, but not that wrong. He was the son of a migrant, and he had an Al Qaeda manual and enough ricin poison to kill thousands of people. He was a little terrorist, basically. So the people were right. And what this government did was it basically arrested us all and threw us all in prison. 385 people from the protests after that killing, which was last July, about a year ago, were put into jail. And the worst thing is, check this out, if you're in America, I think this makes your jaw drop. I heard Joe Rogan talking about this the other day. 12 of those people who went to jail, they went to jail for what they posted, what they wrote on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, or X as it's now called. So I tell you what, I don't want to live in a country where people get sent to prison for writing hurty words.
Well, you do, Kevin, because actually, I mean, I think more people are in prison for social media posts in this country than in Russia, or at least were arrested, which is really, really concerning. And it's a slippery slope, this sort of stuff. It happens overnight. You blink, you think, oh, children will be protected from accessing pornography. No, that's not the truth, actually. You're now getting censored from seeing critical information. So we really, really need to be careful,
it's
because
the communist playbook.
And as you said, Ash, while throwing us all in jail, or 385, I just about managed to escape going to prison. While throwing everybody in jail, they said that the government said that all the people who were protesting Again, it was a protest about the migrant crisis. You know, we got 50,000 people a year breaking into this country illegally. The government just said, no, these are just mindless, violent racists.
When I was at school
You went to school?
In 1984, can you believe I'm that old? But we were
I can't believe you went to school.
I know, well, not very well.
Didn't pay attention,
did you? No,
you?
I didn't. I was sort of the rabble-rouser. But in 1984, we read George Orwell's 1984, and the teacher was like, yeah, we must never let it get like this. And Keir Starmer has been reading it at the same time going, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
You know, he's basically doing everything.
Right.
Yeah, in 1984, George Orwell's classic novel is supposed to be a warning about what happens if you descend...
Not a manual.
If you descend into totalitarianism, as you say, not a manual. Not a manual. And by the way, over the recent new figures reveal that... the most recent figures reveal that over the year up until June 24, this country's population increased by 700,000. We are now at around about 70 million. When I was a kid, admittedly a long time ago, the population of this country was 55 million. The population of this country is soaring. This country is full. It's a small island. Our infrastructure is falling apart at the seams because it cannot cope. People who are protesting about this, they're not racists. They're not violent thugs. They're people who are worried about their country, but we have a government that just wants to slap us down, like the Stasi in East Germany during the 70s. Another question, Samara.
A woman in Nottingham has been banned from a Wetherspoons pub for wearing a Union Jack dress. What is wrong with being patriotic? What is wrong?
Well,
It's racist.
it's
Yeah, it
racist, obviously. Well, this is now a syndrome. Check this out. If you're in the States in particular, where you quite rightly honour your flag, the Stars and Stripes. Good for you. Patriotism. It's very strong in America. Over here, it's becoming a dirty word. We've had several school kids in the last few weeks have been chucked out of school for arriving in girls wearing Union Jack dresses. Because they want to pay tribute to their own country. They're kicked out. Teachers won't let them into class. Ridiculous. And now a woman went into a pub in Nottinghamshire and she's been banned from that pub because she wore a Union Jack dress. Our flag, here it is. Here
No, that's not.
That's
No,
Australia.
okay,
That's got a Union Jack dress.
That bit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
This bit. Yeah, so, this.
How
this is our flag.
insulting for people that died for this country, died defending it. It is completely egregious. I mean, I just don't understand how, a lot of people that come to this country as immigrants actually want to embrace the culture, or at least that was how it used to be. It's not like that anymore. I think this multiculturalism that we like to spew all over everyone, it actually isn't really conducive with what we should be doing. We need to be embracing our own values and teaching other people that too.
And our history, they trash our history. Everyone's racist. Churchill, Nelson, everyone was, it was a different time back then.
Yeah, well, there's a worrying trend in this country to disrespect our nation, to disrespect Britain, to see this as a symbol of everything's wrong. It's all these lefties, they're kind of really obsessed with the imperialism, colonialism. Yeah. I'm actually proud of the British Empire.
There's a lot of good it did. I mean, the English language, the clothes that we wear, the business suits, all the sports, everything, the culture.
Yeah,
no one's done the Industrial Revolution. No one's done more than this country.
Yeah, and also, we ran the biggest empire the world has ever seen. So.
And they kept what we gave them, their parliaments. They liked us. It wasn't like the French Empire and the Belgian where they didn't. They liked us still after. They stayed with the Commonwealth and adopted all our laws.
So, a lot of them. Otherwise, we've got the British Commonwealth. There's 59 countries in that.
Yeah, it's growing.
They used to be in the Empire and they stayed voluntary. So it wasn't all bad. I think we did do some quite bad things as well. We were pretty ruthless in our taking over and invading of foreign countries because we in Britain decided that we had the right to actually run the world. But I don't think we did a bad job of running the world. And as I say, was a massive empire, and I'm quite proud of it. But,
Yeah, well, we're
but
self-immolating.
You're not really allowed to
They
say that
stopped
anymore.
women jumping onto the fires when their husbands died in India. You know, they did a lot of good things.
It used to mean something to be British.
Sooty.
Now, when I got, not to bring it into it, but when I got my phone stolen, no one even stopped to help. And I feel like that used to be a very British quality. And I just think when we start to get very,
I think it's just something to do with you.
yeah.
She always has a phone out.
I'd stop to help anyone getting their phone stolen, but not you. Well, I've got another question.
Oh, yeah, this is very pertinent. Who are the 3 worst people that you'd hate to be stuck on a desert island with? I think I know who.
Well, I came up with 3. You know, and I'm sure I'll be open to many, many more suggestions. But the 3 I selected, maybe we'll do some more next week. Keir Starmer, obviously.
Because he'd bring loads of military-age males onto the island as well, wouldn't he, while you were there? It wouldn't be just an island anymore.
Well, yeah, OK. Where was I?
Keir Starmer.
But before I was so rudely interrupted. Keir Starmer, Kamala Harris, and Meghan Markle.
Oh, you stole mine. Meghan Markle, absolutely. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein. Anyway.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Have you never been to his...
We know what island that would be.
I'm too old for him. That's the issue.
Who are the worst 3 people you'd like to be stuck on Pedo Island with? Yeah.
Is this the island in question?
So you got Epstein. You had Meghan Markle. What was your 3rd?
Yeah, I probably Harry, because like both of them together are really horrible.
If you were stuck with Harry, I think the conversation could get pretty damn dull after about when he's run out of all his topics and all the information and his educational prowess. I think you'd run out of conversation in about, 1 minute and 40 seconds? Something like that.
Give it 30
Ash,
seconds.
what about you?
I also had Keir Starmer. I mean, everyone hates him, so he'd be on everyone's, list. I had Sadiq Khan as well, the nasty little man, you know, of course. He'd ban everything on the island. And probably President Biden, because, you know...
That's a good one. I was thinking about Joe Biden, because that would be just a nightmare, wouldn't he? He wouldn't even sort of know that you were there.
Go and get the coconuts.
You'd be lonely on a desert
you'd forget.
island. You'd be desperate for a conversation. You go,
man.
hey, Joe, let's have a chat.
Tell you, Hunter would be fun,
He'd be like,
Yeah, Hunter would be good.
Hunter would
Especially
be
when I
fun.
have his laptop with
Actually,
him.
I wouldn't mind being on an island with Hunter, because he could bring the drugs.
Yeah, and the laptop.
That's a joke, folks. Just say no. Just say no
I
to
think you meant
drugs.
it.
Let's go to a bad ad.
What's your excuse? Well, I don't think you have to go to church to believe in God. I mean, I worship just by being here in nature. I lead a good life.
You're right. God is everywhere. But have you ever thought how much you and your family miss by not attending church? Believe me, it's worth an hour of...
Let's go. What have you got, Samara?
Sam Mason says, message to the crew, please move the monitor out of Ash's sight. He can't stop looking at himself. I've never noticed that.
That's a good point.
No, I was looking at Kev.
That's a good point.
So after you did that Meghan Markle film...
Yeah, no, you see, that's what we call notes in the business.
Yeah.
Stop looking. You're right. Yeah, so who said that?
Sam said that. Sam Mason.
Sam.
Mind
Good
your own
point, Sam.
business.
See,
Mind your
but
own
you
business,
can't stop looking at the monitor.
Right,
exactly. You're right. Sam's made a good point. I always look over there and think, what's he looking at? Anyway, what have you got, Ash?
I've got this from Cecily Mears. Kevin, y'all aren't eating grits properly. I'm British American and grew up in southern Mississippi. Grits are lovely when served warm with butter, salt, and pepper. Also quite good as a side with calf's liver.
Calves
liver.
Disgusting. That sounds horrible.
It was a bit like scrambled egg. I quite liked it though. It was lovely.
I used to go to a restaurant in New York called Les Halles.
Oh, yeah.
And they used to do this calf's liver and chips. Fries, as you say.
Calf's liver and
absolutely
chips.
amazing.
No grits.
Amazing.
Really?
No grits.
No grits at the restaurant.
So, yeah, I mean, well, you quite like the grits, didn't you, Ash?
I loved them, man. A bit of tomato
Yeah, you weren't here for the grits,
I
were
know,
you?
I missed out on
I
everything.
made them.
Oh my God,
He's a really good cook.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're still upstairs, probably
There we
going
go.
mouldy.
They'll be
They're
marinated.
upstairs in our office.
Delicious.
Last time I had one of your cookies, it was Meghan's.
Yeah. I remember that when I slaved over a hot stove for about 3 hours. I mean, it literally did take me about 3 hours. She takes a bite of Meghan's cookie that I made. It goes like this. Yeah, so thank you very much. Compliments to the chef, I don't think. What do you got?
Deirdre said, Kevin, What you ate was a greyish colour with lumps in it. It was not grits. You ate biscuits and gravy lumps, and they were sausage bits as well. Okay.
That's not true. That's not true. It was yellowy, wasn't it?
It was just real like scrambled. Maybe she saw what you were eating when you were in America, because you described something
I've had
like
grits that were distinctly grey in colour.
I think that was something else.
Well, no, it wasn't, because it was in Mississippi, where I think they're really big on them. But we saw some film, didn't we, last week? You missed the film of the Grits Festival in the Deep South.
I'm so sad.
With people like diving into baths full of grits. They love them down
There's a whole grit scene in
I
the
must
States.
admit, the reason we did Grits Week last week, Grits Week, was the Grit Awards.
We'll do it every year now.
Yeah, was because I remember when I went into this diner in Mississippi, and I didn't order grits, but it just turned up with my scrambled eggs or something, and I just thought, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten in my life. Anyway, so we tried them again last week. I thought they were just tasteless and
they needed some condiments.
Didn't think they were that bad, but
they needed something. But
anyway, keep the any recipes for tasty grits. Keep them coming. What have you got?
For Grit Week. This is from Linda Brill. She says, I loved you in that wig, very sexy, more sexy than a dynamic duo.
Wow.
There you go.
I quite fancied you in that.
Linda Brill.
Yeah, Linda Brill.
What a great name, Linda. Well, you know what? I think I've mentioned this before. You know, I'm quite well known for loving myself anyway. A bit of a narcissist, obviously. But when I dressed up as Meghan, I looked at myself. I thought, blimey, I think I even fancied myf.
You did look gorgeous.
Yeah, it was a great wig, actually. Yeah, you did. As a woman, I mean,
as a woman, I'm really attractive. As a man, forget about it. Go on, Samara.
Rhonda said, they are married with 2 children. Leave them alone. You people are so cruel. You'd probably get along great with Donald Trump. Yeah, you would.
I hope so. Yeah, we're big fans of Donald Trump. I'd love to meet Donald Trump. It'd be something, wouldn't it?
He's coming here in September.
Well,
Maybe
we'll get him. We'll get him on the show.
Yeah, we will.
It's the sort of thing he'd agree to do, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Counterintuitively. But I think people who say that, leave them alone. They've got 2 children.
So what?
So what?
Yeah.
So what? Ash.
This is from Dale. It says, Kevin, stay a handsome devil, even though you would surpass the Duchess in looks.
The Duchess?
No, he calls it a Duchess.
The Duchess.
Some American.
Stay a handsome devil.
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
You'll try.
Just comes naturally. Samara.
Nana HBI says, so funny and most probably 100% true. In my opinion, fake kids. They rented them out.
Fake kids. I'll tell you what, I was thinking. I know we get, the policy of this show is that Harry and Meghan don't actually have children. But I was looking at that twerking video the other day, and the more I look at it, the more, it looks like she's got a sort of double-decker bus hanging down by her knees. I mean, it doesn't look like that. Doesn't look like a
women
baby
say they
bum.
can't twerk when they're at that stage.
She had a high-risk pregnancy. What's she doing twerking a couple minutes before?
I'm wondering if, to cut us some slack, that she'd had the kid.
Yeah.
And then they recreated it for the twerking.
You're just making concessions for yourself, Kevin. I don't think... Why would she do that?
What am I saying? What am I saying? She'd had the kid. Sorry, that's against the policy of this show. They don't have children. They just pretend.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that bump...